and welcome back to another episode of
Let's Get Spooky.
I'm Vamp.
I'm AJ.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about, it's another episode of FliX-Files, so we're going to talk about what we've been watching. But first, we're going to catch up because it's been a minute.
Yeah,
since
it's been
we've
a little
seen
bit of a catch
months.
up.
Not that we're counting.
It's been a long time. So what have you guys been up to?
Oh, you know, everything.
Everything meaning like
Nothing.
I've been burning meals. I've been cleaning
What does
toilets.
that mean?
It means
Meals?
I like attempt to cook things.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then
I was like, is that a slang that I don't know? You're going to have to teach me.
it's like my gang. We burn meals.
You burn
on
meals?
weekends. Yeah.
Do you still eat them or do you throw them away?
Code.
I do eat them because I get desperate. I'm like, ooh, that still smells good.
You're like, I spent an hour burning that, so I might
I
as well eat it.
burn meals.
Time and
I
love
make
in there.
art. I work. I go to
So pretty
sleep.
much the same, but just confined into your
Yeah.
living quarters.
Yes.
I'm
it
forcing
is.
myself to learn a ton of different crafts.
You made that really cool sweater,
I made a crochet
like a
cardigan.
full cardigan.
I made like a full blanket.
How much do I have to commission you to make me one of those sweaters? Because how long did it take you?
It took
I
me
want
so
socks.
long.
My feet are cold.
It took me. I don't think I'm ever gonna make
Like
myself
not worth it
another
to make
one.
another one?
It was so long, and then once now that I've done it, I feel like I might be able to do it again.
It's real cute.
But like I started making because I made basically a bunch of granny squares, and I learned like a ton of different versions of like making crocheted squares, and I was like, I did it for like a couple of weeks, and I had stacks on stacks on stacks of
and then you put
crocheted
them
squares,
together.
and I put them together,
like a quilt. Almost.
yes,
Okay.
almost, but like just then shaped it to a body.
Seems like
but when I was
difficult.
doing it, I was like, okay, cool, I should have enough. And then I started mapping it out, how I thought it was going to be, did the math, and I'm like, cool. I only have like a third
You
of
have
how
one
many
arm?
squares that I need. I was like, how does it take
it's an
this much?
asymmetrical poncho.
It's just one sleeve with
fine.
like a choker.
It's a bib,
Yeah.
a fancy bib. But
You made
Yeah.
some stained glass stuff too.
Yeah, I've been doing my stained glass.
Artsy fartsy over here.
I'm now into stamp carving and print blocking. I watch a YouTube video. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And I just do it.
I see it and I'm like, I'll try that. And then if I'm not good at it in the first 3 minutes, I'm like,
You're
I
like,
don't
I
want to do
give
that.
up.
Abandon ship. We're moving on.
I just paint chip black in my apartment. I'm like, now it's darker.
And play your organ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got an organ. Honestly, I have to say, buying an organ piano is better than a Peloton. Like people are paying thousands of dollars for a
your
Peloton.
fingers, though.
No.
Oh,
no,
to
no,
get
no.
it in the apartment?
pedals. No, the pedals are intense. So like they don't tell you. I don't know if I got a janky one. Maybe it was because it was so cheap. But the amount of pressure you have to put on the pedals to get the actual sound to come out is intense. It's like
So it's a workout.
little
Yeah.
old ladies
like,
do it.
I have little leg muscles on my bottom legs now.
You run.
No, not anymore. I'm sick of that shit. The people are getting shot in my neighborhood. No, people are getting
That's true.
shot.
It's not safe.
I stay
It's not
indoors.
safe.
So now I play my organ, but it's like the pressure, and then there's all these little knobby things, and I'm like, "What are you, knob?" So sometimes I'll like pull out.
Do you have any
special
videos
knobs.
of you playing the organ?
Yeah, but they're not very good.
I just feel like when you have an organ, you don't really like. You just push one. What do you?
No,
Keys?
no, there's two.
Keys?
I don't know if I got like a special one. I think it's from like 1910.
Oh, is it really old? Like an actual
the
antique?
guy who gave it to me. So normally, like when you go on Facebook Marketplace,
Love
they'll be
Facebook
like
Marketplace.
free piano. You just have to move it, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Fuck no, those are really fucking
Yeah.
heavy."
How do I
heavy.
move it? Yeah.
This guy was like, $100, I'll deliver, and I was like, deliver
What?
it.
Brought it for
I was like,
$100?
deliver it to me.
Was he a murderer?
No, he was a dentist. So he brought it, but
So he is a murderer.
So he's
no,
a
but this
murderer
is
of
the
teeth.
thing. So like, and my boyfriend is supposed to come pick it up and like help me like move it into my apartment. And he didn't come because he was late. I still love him, but whatever. So the dentist, he drops it off from the back of his car.
Is he your actual dentist or no?
No, he wants me to be his patient
Oh,
though,
okay.
which is really nice.
He's like,
so
"Good
he
dentist
drops it off in
discount?"
front of my garage, and he's like, "Cool, have a good day." And it's
Does it have wheels?
No. So I have to
have a lot of
push it.
questions.
I have to.
By yourself?
I click the fob and I push it into the garage, and then I push it into the door, and then I get it halfway through the door, and the threshold is like a bitch. I'm like, and so then someone who walked their dog came and helpfully, like they were like, okay, like let's get it into the elevator.
Yeah.
You dumb bitch. So got it into the elevator. It stops on the second floor. which is my floor. I can't get it over the threshold. So I'm holding the elevator door because it's going to close. Every 5 seconds, I'm like this, and I'm like, so this arm is
That's
really
strong.
Wow, look
Yes.
at that. Look at that.
So now I'm in a position where my bottom legs are very strong and this right arm is very strong. And I cannot play a song,
but it looks badass.
I can lift a grocery
nice.
bag with my legs.
I feel like we need to invest, AJ, we need to invest in a body harness GoPro for Ashley.
Yeah.
Because just so we can be in tune to like your day to day.
My
Because
life?
these stories are very good. And I feel like if we had visual representation of how that happened, it would be very entertaining.
You'd be like, this bitch is crazy.
Or just put like hidden cameras all around.
Just so we can
Well, I
see.
had this grandeur dream of like playing piano, like these vampire songs in like that corner of my apartment.
It's very dark
And
and,
it really
spooky.
just sounds like a janky Chuck E. Cheese song that like doesn't
Hey, that's great
hold
Which
too.
a
is
tune.
also very scary because
Yeah.
that whole, I mean, we've talked about this before, that whole Chuck E. Cheese thing. And then for my birthday, remember we were supposed to go
yeah.
for my birthday.
I went for my graduation, my high
Did
school
you?
graduation. We went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E.'s
We were like,
lit.
where are we going to go? And I'm like, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese.
But now that's not a thing anymore, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's closed, I'm sure. I don't
I
even
don't
know if
know
they're
if
in
it'll
business.
ever
in
be a
2022. No, it's like laundry store. Like it's all like money laundering. Like I feel like Chuck E. Cheese is money laundering. Sorry guys. It's money laundering. It's kind of like
Because the pizza's like $5.
yeah. There's
and then
there's something fucked up. But it's
something
also
else
like
is going
it's also
on.
like mattress stores. I feel like they'll always be in like business, and it's just like
There's something else happening.
there's
Something
something
behind the scenes.
For my birthday in 2022, we'll go to Chuck E. Cheese. Hopefully, if it's not out of business.
for my 30th birthday.
We'll go to Chuck E. Cheese. Okay, we'll do a double birthday because they're close.
For my 30th back pain
We'll go to
ritual.
the place that children go to eat shitty pizza and play in the disease ball pit.
Yeah.
It's probably not a great idea, but
No.
That's where COVID was created.
in the Chuck E.
in the
Cheese ball
Chuck
pit.
E. Cheese ball
Yeah.
pit. Yeah.
So
Heard it here first, folks.
my quarantine activities have included a lot of like outdoor adventure type things.
Outdoor sitting on the toilet.
Outdoor sitting on the toilet. Yes, I launched my own brand. It's called Powder and Potions, my own brand of toilet spray. So we've been taking a toilet to random locations, which like we took it to my parents' house, which was weird, but it's my parents, so they're not going
Where
to judge
did you
us.
buy the toilet? I have to
At Home
ask.
Depot.
Oh.
Like it's a real toilet.
For some reason, I thought you took the one that you had at home.
Yeah, that's
someone
what I-
else said that
Like
to me.
you
and
were
I was
like unscrewed it and you're like, okay, let's go.
that's
Because when you
disgusting.
like
And
you
then have
told
to
me,
get a
you were like,
plumber.
oh, I sat on the
I
toilet,
don't know
and I
how
was like,
toilets work.
You have to turn the water off and take it out, and there's a
It's
little
not
knob
just
in the
a
back.
take and go.
Yeah, but usually they're sealed to the ground, so when you sit on it, it doesn't fall over. Like construction
screwed in?
people,
there's architectural
there's
shit.
like things.
There's like
bolts
putty
and stuff, putty. So we bought a brand new toilet because that's disgusting. First of all,
You should have
poop in
got
that-
a nasty one on Facebook Marketplace.
So we did. We looked on Facebook
Like a
Marketplace.
cracked,
We looked
janky
on
one?
Craigslist, and there was people that said free if you just come get it. And I was considering it, and I was like, I'll just Lysol it, like bleach it. And then I'm like, someone put their butt on it. Multiple people probably
think
put
of how
their
many
ass on
butts put their butts on toilets of Disneyland, and you put your butt on that
it.
toilet.
Yeah, but I put the paper down, and I usually don't sit
I
on it.
don't
I
fuck with
hover.
paper. I go full
hover.
throttle.
you go down and
I land the plane.
No. So we bought a brand new toilet. We took our brand new toilet to random locations and took very fancy photos. We also have been riding our bikes. I've been rollerblading, roller skating, one wheeling. But I'm going to tell a story about riding my BMX bike because we decided that it was a fun, like we're having fun. We have time. We're home. We're exercising. We're outside. And then we built some dirt jumps of our own because we figured we'll have our own little like dirt jump track. We can do our own thing. And so we had ridden it 5 or 6 times already. I felt pretty comfortable. I'm like, I'm not jumping it. I'm rolling over it. Like my wheels are on the ground. So it's maybe the sixth time we are riding the track. And so Cameron's there. My brother and sister-in-law and my niece are there. Everyone was like riding the track, hanging out. They're all at the top of the hill, and I'm going to go. So I'm riding, and I'm not looking behind me. I'm assuming they're watching me. I go up, and it's the last jump. And I just, like I had done it a million times before, and I get to the top, and I just hit like it had been really hot out for a couple of days, so the dirt got kind of soft, and I hit a patch of like the soft dirt.
And you eat shit.
And my bike the front wheel went into it, and it stopped, but my momentum did not stop. And I flew straight over the handlebars. I did like a baseball slide down the thing.
Ooh.
And luckily I got my hands out.
Helmet?
No. And that's very dumb because I normally like always bring it with me.
This is not a children's show.
Always wear a helmet. Safety
Yeah.
first. And so I slide down. My jacket kind of flew off. I scraped my shoulder. I have a scar now. My chin scraped all the way down the bottom. So I get up and I'm laughing. Like I wasn't hurt bad. It sucked. I was bleeding. It was fine. But felt like it was happening in slow motion. And there were some kids down the trail. And I just remember standing up and I looked at them and they all just looked at the floor. And I was like, oh my God, they saw.
That's how you know
You're
it's
big,
really
dude.
bad.
Yeah. And then I turned back to Cameron and everyone's standing at the top of the hill and nobody saw. Like nobody watched me. It was
That sounds like me when my top flew off at a water park. And
I was
people everyone just looked down. They're like,
But
well,
I was like, this was such a good opportunity for people to see me eat shit. And then
Yeah.
every other time I had my phone set up to catch it on camera, and that one time I didn't. And so it was a missed opportunity. But I have some battle wounds.
eat shit, get money. Next time, just film everything.
I got no money. I got some scars in a very visible place. So I got to put some Neosporin on that. But outdoor adventuring has been fun. I would say my top thing is my one wheel, which I love. It's like a skateboard on one wheel. It's motorized. It is so much fun. And it goes like 18
I saw
miles an hour.
someone doing, and I'm pretty sure it was some type of like DoorDash, but I was literally driving yesterday and they were in the car lane on one of those
On a
things
one wheel?
with 2 Papa John's pizzas.
That's genius.
And I was like, why are you in the turn lane when you're on one wheel?
Well,
Also-
it is motorized, so
You
it
still
counts
turn.
as yeah.
Why are you going so fast?
They go.
They
so
go
drop
really
that pizza.
fast.
I think it goes up to 21 miles an hour around there.
I was
So-
in Hollywood though. It's not.
Yeah, it's not
It's
safe.
not kosher to take a turn on a one wheel.
I
with some
went
Papa John's.
down the street as fast as I could, as fast as I felt comfortable. And there's an app on your phone so you can track like how fast you're
okay.
going, and it's super helpful. So I think the fastest I've gone on it on paved road straight 18 miles an hour. So, I mean, that's fast.
That's speedy.
It's not as super fast, but it's pretty fast.
The number seems small, but I also feel like
But when
that's
you're going
really
that fast, it's pretty intense. But
That's what she said.
it's very, very fun. I've been practicing a lot now. I feel comfortable where I can like take it on trails and stuff. Because at first I was like stiff as a board. I was so nervous I was gonna fall, and then I fell a couple times, and I was like, it's fine.
Well, I have 0 wheels. I have no car. I have no one wheel. I have no bike.
You can
She has 0 wheels.
I have
you
literally
can come ride all of my
0
wheels.
wheels.
Not in a weird way. You can ride all of the wheels.
Only in my dreams.
I was doing I did skating for a while. Like I got
Roller
the
skating or
quads.
blading?
I got quads first because I was like, hey, I want to give this a shot. Like when I used to do it, because I worked at I think I told the story before, but I worked at a roller rink before. So like I knew how to do rollerblades pretty well. And whenever I would try roller skates, I would be like, I can't do it. I would literally fall on my face. So I'm like, okay,
They're
I'm going to get a
clunky
pair.
feeling. Yeah.
They feel weird. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll get a pair and I'll just try to get good at it.
Yeah.
Got decent, but never enough to where like I
You
felt
were not
good.
moonwalking?
Yeah, no, like I just didn't feel really right. And then Matt and I started playing hockey in the front of the house, like in the streets, because we got like a tiny little.
That's aggressive.
goal.
Let's
Yeah.
play hockey today.
So I was-
intense.
Yeah,
Fuck rolling. Let's hockey.
Let's hockey.
Well, so I would try to do it with my skates on, and I was doing okay, and like actually having a stick in my hand and like doing stuff took my mind off of the skating, which then made me a little bit better at it. But then I like never got super comfortable, so then I was like, screw it, and I just got
Rollerblades are so much better.
So now I have like I got some like junior cheap like hockey skates, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I can turn, I can stop. Like this is so much easier. It just came right back to me, and I'm like, why didn't I just do this to begin with?
You know what I
skates-
want?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That jetpack guy. Jetpack.
You want a jetpack?
You know that
wheels.
guy?
I want a
Yeah,
jetpack.
you know he was showing up at the
LA guy.
Yeah.
I don't want the
Did they
wheels.
catch him?
I want the jetpack. No, they haven't caught him yet.
Wait,
But
how do
we
they
go
not? There's
find
cameras. There's cameras everywhere. How do they not catch him? He's got a
They
freaking
have
jetpack
him on camera.
They have him on camera
he's
because
probably got like a
he was over LAX and then he was over some mountains. But anyway,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want to fuck with wheels anymore. I want to fuck with fire. And I remember I tweeted Elon Musk when he put out his flamethrowers and he didn't tweet back. And I was like, fuck Twitter.
Dick.
I'm done. But I wanted the flamethrower.
I want a
but, like,
flamethrower. I want a jetpack.
flamethrower, not
Flamethrower.
flamethrower. That's what I said. But to have flames coming out of your backpack
It's pretty intense.
over a.
Do you feel it? Like, are you
I don't
warm?
think so.
I'm sure
I
you
don't know. I
probably
think
wear
it's more
those-
like a gaseous fire. So it's not like if you
Like
wear it,
actual
because
fire,
if you
gonna
think
light
of
your
like a
ass on fire.
jetpack, it's not gonna light your ass. I wish it
you
would.
fart
'Cause
and then it
Lord
creates
knows
a-
I gotta poop.
You get a
but
burst of
I think that's the next thing that I'm into.
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be
Wheels.
flying.
Screw rollerblades. Let's
People
get
make fun of me
jetpacks.
because I don't have a car. I'm gonna have flyer wheels.
Well, so
gonna
you
be
get your
flying
jetpack,
around.
you bring your rollerblades over. I got rollerblades, but I got an actual like decent pair of rollerblades. And so I was
and I'll
riding.
fly above you both.
You fly above us and monitor. I was riding on like some Big Five specials that were like $19.99 rollerblades, and I was like, I remember being really good at this. Why do I suck? And then I got a decent pair of rollerblades. The first day I was like, okay, I'm fine. The second day I was like, not jumping it, but I was riding up like a bike ramp.
Yeah.
So if you get a better pair that are tighter and you feel like more
yeah.
comfortable, it's so much easier. So we'll have a rollerblading jetpack flamethrower
and I'll win the race
in front of AJ's house.
I'm gonna wear my
and then
best
I'll
outfit.
immediately get kicked out of
And
the
then
neighborhood.
you will get
I'm gonna wear my
removed.
overalls, my denim overalls,
Those will probably
What are
catch
you,
fire.
to
Mario?
represent
You
the
need-
culture that I'm from.
You need flame retardant overalls, and then with your jetpack, because then your ass won't light on fire.
with work boots
With work
from
with, like,
Home Depot.
From Home Depot. They don't
Yeah.
have. They don't sell boots at Home Depot. Boot
And I'm
Barn.
gonna have an air compressed nail gun at my side.
What is
I've thought about
happening?
this.
What is the nail gun for though?
It's for aesthetic. It's
Oh.
like when you're in
You're not
Call of
gonna
Duty.
shoot
It's like when
nails.
you're in Call of Duty and they're like ascending you, and you're like, I got my gear, I've got my shit.
There's so many other things that you could have in your hands. The
I've
fact
thought
that you went
about
to
this
nail gun
for
is
so long.
I've always wanted a nail gun, and every time we go to Home Depot, so being home also has been like home repairs and fixing things. And I used to hate Home Depot and Lowe's with a burning passion in my heart, because every time you go there, you need two things, and somehow it's $500 because you're like, oh, I'll get this
That's
thing
me
and
in
this
Target.
thing and this
I don't
thing.
know about the Home Depot thing,
And-
but whatever.
But now when we go to Home Depot, I bought a saw, I bought a chainsaw, I buy like work lights, I buy power tools, and I have like this weird obsession with buying like tools that
That's
are
what I
intense.
want, but I have no room for them.
But for a nail gun, you need an air compressor.
I
so
know,
there's-
because you need to
have
go. You need to go.
You need the yeah.
We need you to have a surface to like push it on.
So you have to get like a
I
mini
think
air
about that
compressor.
because I'm like, what if I like wasn't the person who was carrying arms and I was carrying nail guns?
You need a
And I was
compressor
like,
backpack.
I need to push it into the skin, and it pisses me off because I just want to be like that bitch with the nail gun.
You can do it from afar.
I
You
could,
do it. Yeah,
I
they
could
sh-
attach
they
the air
fly.
compressor.
Air compressors are
bought
heavy, so you'd have
I
to
bought
put it
a
on wheels.
staple gun.
Staple gun is close.
It didn't even. I don't want to say. It didn't. I'm going to say
It did not.
I bought a print and I wanted to frame it and it didn't even nail in, so I had to duct tape it. And I was like, what is the point of having a
Wow.
gun when
Wait,
it
but
doesn't
wait.
fucking put any pressure into anything?
you bought us a print, but then you were going to put a staple gun in it?
I was going to staple.
Oh, to like a frame?
I was going to staple it to the frame. Didn't work. So I had to duct tape it. And I was like, what's the point of having a gun if it doesn't do its job?
Yeah.
Is that
you-
why people use it to staple the dollars into their skin, like on the street?
I don't
'Cause
know.
it
I was about
probably
to
doesn't do
Wait,
much?
I was about
who
to
staples dollars into their skin?
You've never seen that?
No.
It's like a sideshow thing where like it's like a shock factor thing where like you'd be like, okay, do you have like a dollar bill or
I'll
a
staple it
money
into
bill?
my
Staple
skin?
it into, if you want to like staple it onto my arm, it's $1. If you
And you
want
go,
to do it,
I guess if you don't press hard down enough, right, it wouldn't go in all the way. It would just like surface pressure. Oh, or a
Yeah.
stapler.
yeah, no, it's like a
It's a
I got
little
a
guy.
splinter earlier moving a little wooden
It's
coffin, and that hurt really bad. So I do
so
not
bad.
want to staple anything into my
splinters
body.
and paper cuts.
Yeah,
How?
splinter. I
They're
got most
so
of it
small that
out,
they
but some of
hurt.
it's still in there, and I have to dig it out, and I don't want to. Okay, so we rambled a
We
lot.
gotta talk about things that we watch because we
Yeah,
watch a lot of things.
that's the whole
in the
point of
past
this.
5 months that we've seen each other.
I know, and you
I've
know what was
watched a
hard?
lot.
So we were talking about it in the group chat, and I'm like, "What have I watched? I've watched a million things, but
That's
to have
the
to think
thing.
about it was tough."
The thing too for me is like you were like, oh, what like movies, and like for me, I feel like as much as I love horror movies, I couldn't watch any horror movies because it felt like life was kind of like a weird
Like it-
apocalyptic thing.
It's
it takes
too
my
real.
mind off.
I
of
just
it, though.
couldn't. I couldn't watch something that was like this, like all
Too close to home.
But ironically, I was like really into like documentaries about like murder. So
And like
I,
really
I
depressing
couldn't
topics.
watch like a fantasy version of
You wanna watch
murder,
real
but I
shit.
could watch real shit, and I was like, I'm fucked up. I need to go see a therapist.
So it was the first thing that you watched, or the first thing you
I
want to talk about.
watched. Well, I watched a lot of Adam Sandler movies, but that was not my choice.
That was to bring joy to your life?
Yeah. So the thing that I realized is that I really like things that like controversial, like either TV shows, like not like stupid shit other than Adam Sandler. But I watched Hannibal. I was like, this is dope. Finally watched that. I was like, and then that guy Hugh Dancy who's in it, I was like, let me see what else he's got. So then I watched The Path, which is on Hulu.
I haven't watched that. That's the one.
It's fucking fascinating.
Yeah. What is it?
So it's about this cult, and it's like Myerism. It's We love Myerism. We love a cult.
So what is Myerism?
Myerism is this cult, and they like have like the light, and there's like obviously a leader, and there was a leader, and he went away, and he was sick. So they're trying to find the other ones, but in the midst of all of it, there's like sex and like misconduct and like pregnancy and like bullshit, and there's a commune, and there's like all these things, and they're like, you don't need to live a real life, you just need to like pray to the light. And it was really fascinating because
their god or their figure is the light.
Yeah, the light.
Is it a person or is it a artificial?
I don't fucking know. I watched all 3 seasons. I don't know.
You're like, I don't even. But so not a good cult if we don't even know what
it has Aaron Paul in it too. So if you like Breaking Bad, you're like, oh yo, because he
he's in the cult or he's the narrator.
What's weird is like, not to spoil it.
Is this a real cult or is it
no? It's
made
not.
For TV?
I don't think it's.
Oh,
real.
it's not a real cult. It's a made up cult.
I don't
movie?
think it's. But it feels like it would be because I have a lot of friends who are in like spiritual groups now, and I'm like, fuck you, you're in a
so
cult.
Maybe it's based on something.
I feel like it's very based and no one wants to say it, but Aaron Paul's in it, so if you like Breaking Bad, you're like, yo, Aaron, here you are again.
Yo.
But it's weird because like these people who like doubted at first, then they like become the leaders, and then like they're like fucking all these bitches who like don't believe it, and then you're like,
typical cult business.
It's on Hulu. But anyways, I was like super interested in it because one, I didn't want to watch a horror movie where someone got killed. I was like, I want to like dive into psyches now because we're all at home and we're all going crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I find it super interesting. It's 3 seasons. It's a lot of shit.
Wow.
But that was the thing I watched, and then I watched a lot of documentaries, which I'll get into. But I'm sure we watched a lot of similar ones.
Yeah.
Yes. There's
AJ, what's one of your
well, since it's I don't know what the first is. I mean,
or highlights, I guess.
We're talking about Cecil.
Yeah.
what do we call
Crimes.
it earlier?
Oh, Cecil.
The Cecil. The Cecil Hotel. So that just came out a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
On Netflix. And it is a documentary about the Hotel Cecil and kind of all the crazy things that have happened there. And if you're from LA or know about it, it is kind of infamous. But there was so many interesting facts and so many things attached to the Elisa Lam. What are they calling it? I mean,
The Vanishing.
The Vanishing, which
she went missing.
She went missing.
Didn't know where she was. Don't drink the water. They found her, and then the information around how she went like missing and her murder is just like it's just like weird. You're just
it's
like,
all bullshit.
What?
It
But it's
became a
not
viral
really a murder.
sensation, and once that video is released, the internet does what it normally does, and it runs wild with all of these theories that were not based with any sort of fact. It was just people throwing out what they thought happened.
And there was like Facebook groups and stuff.
Right, armchair
and,
detectives decided this is going to be my case. I'm going to solve this.
And it's kind of crazy. It's also fascinating to see the power of something going viral. I kind of hate that term, but that's basically what happened. And how kind of out of hand it became so quickly, and people's lives were ruined.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when I first saw that video, my initial thought, and I almost pretty sure I remember saying this out loud, I was like, oh, she's crazy. That was my initial thought.
Something was definitely
wrong with her.
Wrong. Yeah.
And then as more information came out, it kind of reinforced that, yeah, she was crazy, but there was also so many theories that were kind of convincing.
I didn't think that. Like,
really? What did you think?
I literally thought she was looking at something. So the thing that pissed me off, and like, I don't know if you felt this or if it's just a personal opinion, but like the documentary was good. It delved deep into things in the first episode where it was like, hey, this is haunted, like every fucking room someone got killed.
The history of actual
hotel. And then it
hotel.
immediately did like 6 episodes of that Elisa Lam.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are we not talking about like the weird shit? So like when I saw that video, I was like, I feel like there's something else out there. I don't think obviously she was bipolar or whatever, but I do think there's something else. And like the thing that killed me about the documentary was like, it just strictly dealt with her story, and there was so many weird
many things,
so much weird shit. Like
because she's not haunting the hotel.
No, there's so many fucking weird things though. Like
Yeah.
there was it opened in 1924, and then in 1923, like there was literally a fucking semi truck that like just drove into it, and the guy died. And then there was like a lot of the deaths were like these three things where it was like either poison, gunshots, or falling, and it was continuous, and you're like, okay, what's that about? But like they kind of brushed it, and then they're like, no, we're gonna talk about Elisa.
Well, yeah,
I think the doc is supposed to be about her and her vanishing. I think they just gave a backstory about the hotel because the hotel is weird.
Well, because it's called The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, so that was the focus. But it was a missed opportunity because, like you're saying, there was so much history, so many people, and you think of the area that it's in. You could have jumped off of any other building. There's so many other buildings that had access, but there was something about that location. It was also because it had low income housing, and the clientele that it attracted kind of lent itself to that, more of that kind of stuff happening. But I do wish they would have kind of went into more of the hauntings and the things that were
the weird stuff at the hotel, because I felt like they spent way too much time
on something we kind of already knew.
That like a lot of people do know. Like it's something that, like, it's one of those true crime stories that you have heard on so many different podcasts. I've watched so many different YouTube videos.
There's literally like a song about it. I was on Spotify and I put it on shuffle, and there's a song, Elisa Lamb, and it's like a rap song, and I was like
weird.
I don't understand why.
I think they gave too much, which like there's a lot of focus on the armchair detectives and the people who were kind of really doing it. I'm like, why are we shining so much light on them? Have ruined
people's lives.
More of its life.
Yeah.
And like, but then at the end they did kind of like shake their like,
no,
you're bad. You shouldn't do this. But I did feel like they gave them a little bit too much of a platform. But I think it would have been better if they had
more backstory
of the hotel, and then condense the Elisa Lamb stuff, because it is interesting, and like I did learn new stuff from it.
Yeah.
But there was also certain points where I felt like they would bring something up. So like they would talk about how she heard the first room she was in, it was a shared room, so there was multiple girls
and I'm
in
like,
the room.
who were these girls?
And then I'm like, okay, are we talking to girls? Them? And they said like, she was acting funny. They said, they said that the girls told them that Lisa was acting funny and that they needed to change the room. And then they kind of changed the subject, and I'm like, okay, why aren't we talking to those ladies? Why, like, how was she acting funny?
Right.
What was happening?
Yeah.
They would drop like a tiny hint and then move on, and then another episode they would kind of dive a little bit deeper into it, but I'm like, no,
missed
just
opportunity. I'm like,
I
want to know who those girls were. I want to know what they saw.
Yeah. They only like interviewed the people who drank the water, and I was like, why not interview those girls?
Can you imagine? Well, and I also think
I would sue. I'd be like, I don't want some janky heat water.
I'm sure they didn't make them pay for the hotel after they figured
I would
out what
hope
happened.
not,
but I think the focus was based on her mostly because there was so much more content out there. There's not a lot of content about, Mary Sue who jumped off the top of it from, in the 40s.
I think there should be, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they just went for the low-hanging fruit of like, we have so much on this, we can really make an episodic show about this.
Yeah, and just because of how interesting the case is, I think it just got more.
And the footage is so strange. Like if you watch that footage and you had no context, you'd be like, I mean, she could be crazy, but there could be someone after her. There's so much.
I think she was looking at something. Like I feel like
in
she
her
was,
mind. I feel like she was.
Like she probably took some drugs, because they were saying like she was next to Skid Row. Like I was there today, and like because I had a shoot downtown, and it was just like. It's sketchy. Very much next to sketchy ass shit.
Absolutely.
Like I was just waiting for my Uber, and I would see people, and I'm like, I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah, it's not a place
so I can't imagine.
If you're like they said in the doc, like if you're visiting LA, you don't want to stay there.
Which is so sad, because when it was first around, it was like such a grand hotel, and it was beautiful, and it was like a place that people aspired to go to, and then it just turned into, I mean, that whole area just turned into a mess.
Because it was also housing for like crazy
low-income housing.
Yeah. But
so it is, although we do have our opinions about it, is still very interesting if you don't know about the case.
You can't go, but you can
but you could look
Don't try, because a lot of people, I guess right now, one of the big YouTube trends are like people are trying to go, and they're like, they get to the door and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I bet they're not letting.
Yeah.
Because even in the doc they showed like, I forgot which episode it was, one of the last ones, but they were saying like the YouTuber people were saying that they were trying to go and then they would get in trouble if they had their camera out. They'd be like, you need to delete that footage.
I actually, it was a few days ago, I watched, there was a YouTuber and he lives right across from it. And he was talking about just things that he's seen. Like he would try to like fly a drone, but it's obviously been closed. Like Stay on Main is not in function. Like the hotel isn't, but
is it apartments? Because remember we were looking at it,
apparently
it's apartments now.
Cecil, okay, so the Cecil Hotel was a hotel, but then it was like long-term. A lot of people would do long-term
monthly,
stay,
whatever, because it says it on the side of the building. Yeah,
and then that was when it was getting kind of rough because it was cheap, so people would go and stay there, and then there was a lot of drug going on, whatever. Yeah, prostitution.
There was a lot of drugs,
a lot of bad stuff.
Yes.
So then someone came in and bought the hotel and wanted to redo it. Put a lot of money into it, but they couldn't because of how the zoning is. Like they had to keep it the Hotel Cecil. So they moved they couldn't just go in and like,
hey, you have to leave. Yeah.
They tried and they couldn't do it. So then they moved all the people who were there like long term, moved them onto a couple of floors, then made a different entrance for the Stay on Main, which would be on different floors. So technically that building is both the Hotel Cecil still and Stay on Main.
But right now someone bought it and it's non-functioning.
Yeah.
But this guy who recently did the YouTube video, he was saying that no one's in there, but he will see like lights flickering and he'll see windows like opening and closing. And he had like a drone and he tried to fly it in there and it just like wouldn't make it all the way. Like
that's crazy. So I would love to get in there. There's a ton of history, but
but right now they're trying to like do like a whole like rooftop thing and like they're trying to remake it because I think right now they're banking off of the idea of like they're like, oh, it's a Netflix.
They have like, publicity for sure.
Yeah. Now people are gonna want to stay there. They're gonna want to stay in that exact room that was her last room before she.
Yeah.
So another thing that I've watched, and I know AJ, you watched it, is the Night Stalker.
I watched it too, bitch.
You watched it too?
Yeah,
we all watched it.
We all watched it.
I wasn't paying attention.
I live in LA. Sorry. I watched the fucking thing. I don't sleep at night now.
So, well, I think we were all. What was the year that the Night Stalker?
1985.
85. So none of us were born yet.
Nope.
Which is great for us. Super unfortunate.
We still
for
look young too.
Young, supple skin. But watching it, it's so crazy because it was such a different state of mind that people are in. So now everyone locks their doors, they lock their windows. We have
Citizen.
We have Citizen app, we have the Ring app. We live in a constant state of fear because that's what our environments have basically come to. But at that time it was a very free time. People didn't worry about those kinds of things.
People didn't lock their doors.
People don't lock their doors. And it was kind of terrifying to watch.
Yeah.
And to see. In my mind, when I thought of the Night Stalker, and I guess because I wasn't born yet when he was around, I always thought it was just women. I didn't realize the men, the children.
Anyone.
It was literally any person.
Whoever he would come across, you're a victim.
It is so insane. And when the detectives finally, if you haven't watched it, it is worth the watch. Will suck you in. You'll stay up all night watching it. The detectives that were smart enough to start stringing these things together, it's crazy. It is so crazy. And the amount of, we think about forensics now. Yeah. They would have instantly, they would have been like, we know who this is. But the things that they were able to put together with one shoe print.
The shoe print.
Yeah.
The sketch is a little questionable.
The jawbone was not ideal.
The sketch is very sketch.
The sketch was super sketch. I would have to say that whole documentary, the one thing that was like, it just irked me was his like weird fan club.
And his weird teeth.
His mouth was messed up. Don't trust anyone with a messed up mouth. It should be a rule of thumb.
Well, some people can't afford dental, so don't judge them.
To the dentist.
But if he's got bad teeth and he murders, because I know some people with some janky teeth and they're nice people.
I'm not saying that if you have bad teeth, you're not a good person. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
Just be weird.
Could you imagine being killed by someone and they're like here and you're like,
And he has
that
the
breath,
worst breath
Yeah.
ever.
like dog breath?
Worse than dog
I would
breath.
be like, that killed me alone. Fuck.
I just feel terrible for the
Is he still alive? He's gonna come after
No.
us.
No.
So okay,
Thank God.
so
He died of
got
natural
He got the
causes.
death penalty, but I'm not going to curse. I've cursed a lot, but I'm not going to go crazy. So he got the death penalty. So I thought he died. He died of natural cause. He died of cancer, which that's what he fucking deserved. I thought he got gassed or injected or whatever. So he was he basically got the death penalty, should have died, but he never did. He never got, I don't know why. And then he died of cancer, right?
Probably because his teeth were so janky. He had teeth cancer. If that's a thing.
I don't know what kind of cancer he died. I hope
Look it up.
that whatever cancer he had was horrible and miserable, and every day of his life was full of pain.
I'm
'cause
pretty
that's
sure
what
he
that
got
asshole
married in
deserved.
prison too.
Yeah, to one of his
Yeah.
freaking weird
Yeah.
groupies.
I mean, even to this day, there's people that like praise him, and it's like, how? He's a pedophile.
Probably
He's
the
a
people like
murderer.
Marilyn Manson still. But, you know.
There's probably a lot of gray area in that Venn diagram.
well, you know, and it's super unfortunate because they highlight those people, and I would say with like true crime and a lot of murderers and serial killers, there's this weird thing where people are fascinated with murder and serial killers, which I understand. I understand being fascinated with trying to get into their minds and understand why they do what they do.
It's the mystery of it,
mystery.
where you're just like, how?
But to praise someone and be like, oh, wow, even Charles Manson, where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he was so charming and so handsome. I'm like, you are disgusting.
Yeah.
If you can associate those words with a person that has done what they've done, like people that were Richard Ramirez, that were his fans, and they would send
They
him
were
photos.
sending him photos of themselves, like, hey,
It's a
you
weird,
like this?
It's like the Ted Bundy thing too.
Yeah,
It's
Ted
just
Bundy,
like it's
too.
this weird fascination. Like I don't know if it's because I lived in the boonies. Like I didn't even know what a murderer was until I was like 16. But like I think out here at least there's a little bit more like civilization. But for me to come to like the West Coast and be like, oh shit, like things go down.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world. Like I didn't grow up fearing someone coming through my
Right.
windows, but we had our doors open.
Yeah.
Like we didn't lock things.
Yeah. I had, I always think about this friend that I had. She lived in Sierra Madre up in the hills. They didn't have screens on their windows. They didn't have like a screen door. They would just leave it open. And I remember even being little and staying over there and kind of feeling like, is this... Like, I wasn't worried about a serial killer. I was like, what if a mountain lion comes in and mauls us in our sleep? But now that is not okay. Like, people don't do that. People have
No.
double layers of
I have
security.
a padlock on my door now. I'm
Yeah.
like,
and it's things like that that have raised fear. And for me, I didn't grow up during that time, so I didn't know I don't know what that would feel like. I mean, I know what that feels like as an adult because I fear for my life every day. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to Cameron, and we were watching it. He's like, oh, I remember that. I remember seeing that on the news. I remember
he's
that
old.
happening. Well, he's not old, but he's
Matt
older
was
than
saying
me.
that too. Matt was
Older.
like, I remember the day that he was
It was
caught.
the 80s, yeah. And I watching stuff, and when they're talking about when he was caught in that neighborhood, I'm like, that. Although I wish they would have just ended it there, I kind of do appreciate that they didn't, and that he was locked up because he served the time for his crime. He did have to wake up every day and realize, like, I don't get that freedom. I lost that for what I did. And then he got justice. The people, the families, they got justice. And I think that although if he would have been murdered in that neighborhood, people would have still been happy that he was gone. But I feel like he wouldn't have paid for it.
Yeah.
And he definitely paid for it.
we love a good suffering story.
We do love a good suffering, especially when you freaking deserve it. He deserved it. He was an awful human
I wonder how
being.
bad his teeth got in prison.
I hope that they didn't help him. I hope they just fell out. Like, they hope he had like bad cavities and pain, and they just let him suffer.
That shit hurts, but you know.
Makes me sad.
One thing that I did like about the doc is that they had a lot of interviews with either victims who survived and families of victims. So
Yeah.
instead of, I didn't really feel like some docs, they shine a little bit too much of the light on the murderer
Right.
and kind of praise them a little bit. But this one, I feel like they really kind of showed you how awful it was. And there was
Right.
stuff like, this is another one of those cases that I've heard on many different podcasts, and there was still new things that I kind of learned.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. And oh yeah, he did do that and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
So fascinated by the shoe print and how they were able to take that one shoe print, and how, again, now something like that would have been like easy.
Yeah.
Easy. You take the scan of that, you put it on the internet, you would have figured it out. But in the 80s, to be able to put that together and do the research and find out that there was only one in black that had been shipped to this location, and for it to all come together,
crazy.
and for them to be, for the detectives to be so adamant about those types of things, because, you know, in law enforcement and a lot of those things, it's easy for stuff like that to get lost, or someone to be like, no, that's not what it is. Let's overlook that.
Yeah, that's
and they were
not
so
something to pay
persistent
attention
about
to.
it.
Yeah.
Which I find so fascinating. And also to see how far we've come in forensics and DNA and all of that, where now it's a lot harder to get away with stuff, which
So don't
thank
murder.
God.
Don't murder people.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
It's totally not worth it.
Did anyone watch the Britney Spears documentary?
I haven't yet.
Not yet.
Motherfuckers.
We have talked about Britney Spears, I don't think on the show, but
Remember
like before,
when we talked about it?
we would watch the videos before we would film and be like, oh my God, did you see what she just posted?
When we would talk about it, when was it? Like it was like last spring, and I was like, did you see Britney Spears like weird ass dance videos?
Yeah.
And like I was like, yo, this is funny, but it's like genuinely concerning.
Yeah.
And like I just didn't realize it was like a conservatorship.
Yes.
Now I can't even say it right. 'cause I heard you say
It's a big ass word.
Conservatorship.
But yeah, like if you haven't seen the documentary, you should. But I do think it's like really interesting, because like I'm not going to say the word because I can't say it, but those type of situations is basically geared towards like elderly people who can't they can't.
They're not in the mental state.
They're not in the mental state to handle their own finances.
Well, I think at a time she clearly wasn't in a mental state to handle her
But
finances.
when you watch the documentary, you realize that like people were fucking crazy. Like you see paparazzi being like, yeah, we drove her to the state, but we got the shot. So we got paid $1 million. But yeah, she looked like she was spiraling because we followed her to a gas station and she shaved her fucking head and destroyed our car.
Right.
But we got the shot, so we got paid.
Yeah.
Like the things that people did for money and the things to like get stories.
And they didn't care about her
if
life
I was
or
in her
her
situation,
condition. Yeah.
I would be crazy too. Like,
Well, Cameron and I were talking about it, and he had a really good point, which I kind of didn't really think of, is she has been in the limelight since she was a child with the Mickey Mouse Club, and it's gone back so far that she didn't grow up like we grew up.
Yeah.
She grew up with cameras always on her, eyes always on her. That's a totally different lifestyle than what we're used to. The things that we think are normal are very different from what she thinks is normal.
And 100% being controlled. You can't
Absolutely.
wear that. You can't do this. You can't eat so much because you have to be a certain
Right.
and
So
like
she
weird
didn't
ass
body.
things when she was younger. Like there were actual like there was interviewers, like older dudes, like asking her like weird like sexual
inappropriate
questions.
questions. Yeah. So
Yeah.
her whole concept of what is normal for your age and how to take care of certain things when you've had people doing it for you. Think about when we were talking briefly about cults. I mean, a cult basically changes her whole mindset of what is right and how you do certain things. So can you imagine from being a small child being basically molded differently than everyone else? You don't see the world the way other people do it.
No,
the
and
way
then
other
when
people
you're
do.
in it, your reality is different because now
Absolutely.
everyone's eyes are on you. It's not like when we grow up and we're just like,
You're just a
whatever,
kid
I'm gonna
doing
go to
your thing.
Costco.
Yeah.
It's like no one's looking at us unless
Yeah.
we look like we're crazy
Yeah.
people. But
Yeah.
like no one's taking paparazzi photos of us. Like
But do you think, I was watching a news show and they were kind of talking about if she needed help, why wouldn't she just say it? She has this
Because
platform
the
to
thing
say whatever
is,
she wants to say.
mental health wasn't a thing back then. Like
That's
when
true.
she had her freak out, a lot of people now, and it's really sad, but like the meme coming out of like her being bald, being like, now I get it why she had that mental breakdown. It wasn't acceptable like 10 years ago to be like,
That's
I am
true.
depressed. I have anxiety.
Everyone's breaking down left and right
We're
now. So this
we
is
all
normal.
we're all depressed
Yeah.
now, and
We're
it's fine.
broken.
But when you said that, when you had all of these things, you're like, you have money, you have fame. Why would you be depressed?
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Like you have like Demi
could have
Lovato
everything.
being like, hey, like I'm depressed and I have an eating disorder and blah, blah, blah. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's great. We all advocate that. But like now it's different.
But she's in a place that maybe her upbringing was different where she feels comfortable enough to say those things. If you've been conditioned to those aren't things you talk about, then you don't talk about it.
I don't think anyone talked about it though. Like,
No.
I don't even remember my parents being like, what is depression? Like, that was not a thing.
Yeah.
It was like, you go to school, you eat your dinner, you survive.
You have your steps of normal daily life.
I didn't even know what depression was until I moved, like, when I was 22. And I was like, oh, this one's whatever.
And that's super unfortunate because it's someone that basically, like, they had everything. They were able to do whatever they wanted. They had the world by the balls, for lack of a better term. And unfortunately, it just didn't pan out the way we would all have hoped.
And then someone controls you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst thing is, like, you can spiral out of control and go to rehab like Lindsay Lohan or something. But, like, if you have your father just, like, controlling your finances and shit, that's fucked.
Yeah.
And that's what's so sad, and that's why people are like, free Britney.
Well, and she had that whole I forget what it was called, but it was like a Britney Spears like pop-up thing where you can go take photos.
Yeah,
And
I don't think that was even like,
was that?
I am sure she got money from it, but I don't think she was there like doing anything.
No. But like that was an opportunity for her to make money off of it. And then
but I'm sure her dad was making a lot of money.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like pageant mom kind of situation where you're like, you feel bad. And I think the thing that's tough is it's kind of like the Elisa Lam thing. We don't have all the details. There is so much speculation. Yeah, there was a documentary, but you're not hearing it from her.
Yeah, and that's what she said on her Instagram. She's like, you don't see what people don't see. And it's like we can be sympathetic and we can try to help, but it's like we can't. We
don't know what you feel. And I think unless the camera was in her house on her and she was saying, this is what happened, this is how it affects me, that's the only way you can really know the truth. You know, because right now we're getting people's opinions, what they think.
Yeah,
I haven't
like
watched
she's
the
in like a
documentary.
happy relationship. She's traveling. She's good. But it's just like, like her finances are just controlled as shit and her dad's crazy. But like.
Well, and also we have a perception of what we see through social media and on the internet and on TV of people and things and occurrences, and we believe what we see. What we see isn't always what's happening. And I would say that for a lot of people, celebrities, whatever, even normal people day to day. No one is posting, boring, mundane things because nobody cares about that. People are posting their highlight reel. They're posting the best
to make
parts of their
people
life.
feel like they want to live your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to post things. I mean, in my opinion, I want to post things that are fun, make people feel happy. I don't want to post when I had a really shitty day because that's just not, I don't want to put out negative energy, but sometimes that's good. Sometimes putting out what's real
It's relatable.
is very relatable and is what people need to see. So I think in her case, I would love to see a camera on her and her telling us
I think
how
she's
it is.
literally too controlled. I think
Oh,
she
I'm
can't.
sure. Yeah. And
There's
I'm sure
probably some law and she can't do it.
she can't say it. Yeah. And that sucks.
Yeah.
So
Sucks to be controlled.
Yeah.
Watch out for your daddies.
but if your daddy is
But
cool,
if you have no money, your daddy won't come after your money.
yeah, some
be
daddies
broke.
are fine.
Together. All of us.
Yay.
It's a pandemic. We're all fucked.
We're all screwed anyway.
Yeah.
AJ, do you have anything that you've watched?
Yeah, I was telling you guys about the Heaven's Gate, the Cult of Cults.
I've been wanting
one.
to watch that
It's
one.
very good. It's a lot of footage I've never seen before. It's
What is
similar. You know Heaven's Gate?
I don't know.
It's
There's so many
talked about
cults.
it.
I
We
don't
talked
know.
about it,
There's
but
so
it was
many
like
cults.
it was
I
like our
don't know.
second or third episode, I think.
Okay,
when we
so
did
that was a while
cults.
ago.
There's
So
so
it was
many
a long
cults.
time ago.
I don't know.
In a nutshell.
Okay.
Is it here?
In a nutshell. Well,
So-
not anymore.
So it was a cult that was led by two people. They had a few different names, but Toe and D were T and Do were two of. I'm already messing up.
It's all right.
T and Do were the cult people. They started. They were very based on like science fiction
Like
kind
Scientology?
of ideology, not Scientology.
But, like,
Nothing's wrong with
sci-fi.
Scientology. Science
Sci-fi.
fiction. They loved one of like the. They controlled what the people could watch, and they could only watch Star Trek.
I remember this. This is some bullshit.
They believed.
Don't sue us.
There's no.
We
one
love
left.
Star Trek.
Don't
I love
sue
Star
us.
Trek.
I have to remember there's 2 cameras.
Yeah.
Do not sue.
So they believed that they would basically exit these bodies are just
Human body.
temporary. Your human
Just your
bodies
vessel.
are just
Vessel.
temporary.
It's
It's
your
a vessel.
yeah.
So once you finish this, you will go off and live in this new place. So this is just phase 1. So when Hale-Bopp was coming through, there was like this whole conspiracy that there was something trailing it.
It's so dumb. Like
It's
when you say it out
insane.
loud,
Sounds
it's
like
so
a rap
dumb.
song. Yo, when Hale-Bop pops to the surface, it's
Hale-Bop.
gonna
To the
get you
surface.
to
Hale-Bop,
that religion.
Yeah, there you go.
What the fuck?
So
Continue.
they decided that this was their sign. By this time, Doe had passed, but they had decided this was our sign to exit our vehicles. So they committed suicide in a mansion in San Diego. I'm pretty sure it's the largest
is that
mass
the big-
suicide
okay, I
on
remember
U.S.
that.
soil.
Yes.
I watched a thing about that. I'm just
There's
dumb.
a lot of like.
I
things,
watch
but
so many things that I just forget, and there's so many cults.
You're like, oh yeah.
Maybe there should be less cults in the world,
I
and
agree.
we
That
should
would be
all
great.
just realize.
They were the guys with the matching.
with the
Yeah,
the,
so they have
the
the
Nike
Yeezy-
sneakers.
the Yeezys.
the Nike sneakers,
Nike
which they
sneakers.
don't
Yeah.
make anymore.
Yeezys.
Yeah.
And then they had patches made that said exit team.
They like sweatsuits, right? Didn't they, like
Sweatsuit-
sweatsuits.
It was
and
like a
then-
jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Yeezy.
But it's very interesting. They talked to past members who obviously didn't go through, who left before the exit team did. And they have a lot of home footage. So they have all
that's
these
cool.
Ew.
crazy, like them going out and just doing normal stuff. And then also like them doing stuff around like the house. And just like the way that it does like a full look through of like how they started
Like a
and where they
day-to-day.
ended. Just like the way that they started, they would go to like places and just talk. Like they would have like almost like a not a convention, but like a panel.
Mm-hmm.
They would have like a panel and be like, okay, this is what we believe in. If you want to join us, you can join us.
Which
and then
what?
they would
Can you
pack
imagine
up
what
and
that
go
would be
somewhere else.
like to be like, you're walking down the street and it's like Heaven's Gate Convention. Come on in, and you come in
Like,
and these
come in and
crazy
listen
people.
to-
That sounds
talk
like
to
my
you.
neighborhood, but with a
believe.
certain other establishment.
right?
And they
And
give
then-
out pamphlets, and I'm like, no,
And they're like, buy our books.
Buy our books.
Do you want
It's
to be
crazy.
audited?
Yeah.
Hold the little
no,
thing.
thank you.
But then they would then just pick up and go somewhere else. And their members, half the time, they didn't know where the next meeting was going to be. And this is a time where there wasn't cell
There's no
phones and there's
internet,
really
yeah.
no way to know. And they would like send each other. So like hearing all that, how it got started, like, you know, what they believed in into the beginning, and then how it kind of went off the rails once Doe died, and how things just ended. And just seeing them every day, it really humanizes them, and you're like, oh my God, these people really believed this stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I watch Escaping Amish.
Well-
and I'm like, these people just like, we're brainwashed.
But-
But
but
they're
see-
good people.
So that to me, like, that's different because when you see Escaping Amish, these are people that grew up in this lifestyle. Like for cults like this, these are people that a lot of the times, sometimes depending on the cult, they're born into it, but a lot of the times they're grown ass adults and they walk into a room or a screening room or whatever it is, however this meeting is, and they hear some crazy person tell them some hoopla that is like ridiculous. And at some point in that conversation, they say,
Okay.
yes, sign me up. I believe this. I want to
'Cause I
jump
have
on this
nothing
crazy
else
train
to
and I
believe
want to
in.
follow you wherever you're going.
Yeah, I think it's just like needing something in your life.
Yes.
I feel like, especially now, and it's like, I'm shocked that more cults haven't come out yet because
know,
the
right?
pandemic has brought a lot of like failure
they
and
can't
sadness.
they can only have Zoom cult meetings, and I don't
I
think
know,
that's
but like when
effective.
you think about like the despair, like if you think about right now, like obviously we can't do anything, but we have technology. Like if you think about like 20 years ago when like we didn't have technology, but we could like walk around, like it's like the flip reverse, but it's almost the same where you're like, you could easily persuade people because they don't know what the fuck's going on.
because they're broken. There's a
And
lot of things that have
there's a
broken
lot
them.
of questioning. It's like
Yep.
if you're questioning one thing, like what you've been told, and then someone comes in and goes, yeah, what you've been told, it's all a lie. here's what you need to believe.
Yeah.
And there's just a certain moment in someone's life where they can go, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess everyone has those moments of like depression or sadness or feeling like what's the point? And if those kind of timelines meet up where the person comes and tells you, oh, this is the point. You're like,
I think
okay.
they can get you too. It's like a psychic when you go and they're like, you look lost. And like 99% of people are lost.
Everybody's lost.
Everyone's like,
lost.
they're like, you look depressed. You look like you are searching for
It's the
something,
blanket
but you don't know
statements.
what.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with cults. And they're like,
Yeah.
the light. Or like,
You guys are covering
Jesus.
up a lot of stupidity. It's just like dumb
Well,
people.
that's true.
No,
But okay,
but
so
it's
Cameron
not
says it's just dumb
100%.
people. I don't think it's always dumb people. I think it's people that need a purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that the thing with cults or religions or however you want to name it,
Spirituality, too.
spirituality.
Yeah.
I think spirituality is different because that's a personal thing and you put into that however you believe it. But
there's
I
like
think
different sectors.
right. I
Yeah.
think of like a cult or a religion. I think you're looking to someone or a book or a story to tell you what is right and what is wrong. Someone that has their own path, their own common sense, their own goals in life knows what it is for them personally. But if you don't have that, if you don't have a path, if you don't know that I want to be there in 10 years, if you're just kind of floating, you're looking for a purpose.
Yeah.
And that can be construed as dumb or that can be construed as needing a purpose. And it just depends on how you look at it. But I think after being in something like that for a long period of time, you become brainwashed and you lose the ability to take a step back and be like, wow, this is not right.
Yeah. Because, like, I think a lot of times people are like, you joined a cult, you must be really dumb. But one thing that I thought was really interesting that really opened my eyes about in this Heaven's Gate one is they were talking to this lady and her parents had joined and they were scientists. They were extremely smart.
super smart people?
Super smart. Like, well-known scientists. And then they fell for it and they just gave up everything, gave up her, dropped her off at a family member's house and is like, I'm going to join this. Like, this is just what I feel like I need.
I do have to say something because I know a lot of very smart, science-y, book smart people that lack common sense.
Yeah,
There's two
so,
types
yeah,
of
for
smart.
sure.
I know
Yeah, you
I
can
have
be
friends who are very religious and they are smart, but they are dumb.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like really
And it's all perspective.
difficult.
It's all how you see things. It's what's important to you. And I mean, to me, I just find it super unfortunate when you see someone that has like there's a certain religion / cult where you see some.
I think
people,
it's a weakness though, because I think like you can be very book smart but still be lost inside.
absolutely.
Like I know a lot
Absolutely.
of smart people who are just like they're like a void and they're looking for something to believe in because they thought they could do all these things and be prestigious, and then they're like, oh well,
Yeah.
I need to find a purpose. Like
Yeah.
I
Something about me
literally
got suckered.
I know people in this town who are very talented and they go in a path that is so bizarre and
And you're like, why would you?
and I'm
choose
like,
that?
why, how are you living like that? What are you doing? I respect you, but like, I want to shake them.
Right.
But I know I can't because I know they're smart, but like something's happening and
There's
can't
like a
change.
disconnect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so fascinating about cults and religions and when you see things like go awry like that, because looking at it in a state of mind that you're in, I can't wrap my mind around it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, if that guy said that to me, I'd be like, you can F off.
I
Goodbye.
question too much stuff.
Yeah. But there's certain people that don't. So I
Yeah.
think that's why they work, because our people's brains don't always work like our brains. Everybody's different.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
something
yeah.
we can't understand. I
But
can't
our
understand.
bullshit monitors are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
That's
when
a good way to put
6
it.
years ago, I would take in a lot more bullshit. Now I'm just like fucking hate everyone. So
the
I'm
bullshit
like,
meter is like
I'm like,
way
if you
down.
talk to me, I'm probably not going to talk to you back. Sorry, but like it's just
Times are a changing.
yeah, times are a changing. I'm hella hermiting. But I do know when I lived in Seattle, when someone would be like, you need Jesus. And I would kind of give them a chance.
You would like give them the courtesy
Now-
of like, okay, let them say their little spiel.
Now I'd be like, you need a swift kick to the thigh or like the shin. Like
It's
you
like
don't.
when you answer
talk to
like
me.
the phone and you think it's someone that you know, but then it turns out to be like a telemarketer. Before I used to like give them a second. Now I just hang up and I have no guilt.
I don't think I shared this. I got a letter in the mail. And I'm like, who is this from? I opened it and it was a handwritten letter that was like, I am so sorry for your loss. Like, you know, if you need to talk, we are.
Was it addressed to you?
It was Jehovah's Witness. It was addressed
Oh,
to
they're
me.
crazy.
Got one of those.
And
Wait,
I was
you got one
like,
of those?
Who were we saying talking to? That just
I don't know.
handwritten.
it was a handwritten note that was like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And because like,
Don't come after
Okay,
us.
I'm gonna
They're
say
crazy.
Jehovah's Witness. That shit's crazy. Your mom what?
Just recently.
What?
They were laughing at
and I was so angry. One, there, as far as I know, there is no loss in my family, but because that is one of the ways that how they
try to
reach,
suck
that's
you
how they
in.
convert
Yeah.
people.
That is
because
It's like a
messed
big
up.
psychic.
one of their beliefs is that when Judgment Day or whatever they call it happens,
Some bullshit.
all the people who you love who have passed will rise up from the dead.
They'll be
and
with the
you will
with
be
the
with you.
tigers and the elephants and the family.
So
and
the fact-
All the tigers that died from Tiger King.
they'll be
killing
there
them.
and they will love
They're all
you. They
in
won't kill
army.
you.
No, yeah,
They
no.
will pet you
You'll
with
live
their
in
paw.
harmony. You'll love each other. But the fact
That's what they
that
use.
they are preying on
Yeah.
people who are mourning, and
Yeah.
that is a weak point for people, and
Yep.
that is how they get people. But I was, oh my, Matt was like,
You're like, who?
calm
what
down.
is
I
the
was
return
like,
address?
I looked,
Don't
no,
act
I
like
looked them
everyone
up on. I looked them up
Did
on
you write them a
maps.
handwritten letter back?
I wanted to show up. If it wasn't for COVID, I would have gone there, slammed it on the thing, and been like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
There's so many
I
scams
could
lately,
not-
though. It's
That's
like,
terrible.
Believe it. A handwritten note
So there was a
and
show
a
that
pamphlet that
and
was.
that was like, oh, if you
Yeah.
need someone,
Yeah.
here is the way, and you're like, you can just kindly f off.
I'm the way.
But that's
I'm
the
angry
thing.
now.
That's why it works, because say that someone did have a loss.
Yeah,
And
like
they
if
were
I
at
was
a
a
weak
super
point.
low point, and I'm like,
Wow, these people took the time.
I want to
they
be
thought
with
of
that
me.
person again.
Yes. And okay, so we watched a show and they talk about the Jehovah's Witness, and you hear them and you see the episode about it, and they talk about what they believe. And I remember growing up and having kids in school that were their family was Jehovah's Witnesses.
We had them knock on our door.
They used to come with the
Yeah.
pamphlets.
I worked with someone who was.
And it's like one of those things where you hear the story and you hear what they're preaching of, like, if you don't follow these things, and you're going to go to whatever they call the place, which is like hell basically. But if you do, then you're going to go to this place where it's a land of freedom and everyone's together and loving and it's perfect. But if you do one thing wrong, you don't get to go.
Anything wrong.
And
You can't celebrate yourself either. The fact that they can't celebrate your
holidays,
birthday.
it's some bullshit. So I'm just going to call that out. It's some bullshit. But the fact that they do prey on people at weak points just says so much about what the basis is.
Yeah.
It's about controlling people.
That's how everything is, though. If you
Absolutely.
think about like control in
Absolutely.
like politics and in the government and in religion, it's like everything
And
is
in
like
business
We have a
and
bunch of
everything.
dum dums.
Yeah.
Like I was watching a podcast today, and they were saying like the educational system, like they want to keep like education at a high cost so that people stay dumb, so that they vote a certain
a
way,
whole
or
power
they become
play.
uneducated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they like lean a certain way. And that's why you see like certain parts of the country who are more educated, who have more like college degrees, and like the West Coast, like California and like New York and Boston, like they have more like
All about making money.
It's about money. And you know what would be interesting is if anyone ever had any sort of like numbers to relate where cults are more popular. Would be really interesting to know of like if they flourish more in certain areas because of that.
Yeah.
But it's sad. And I think when you're able to take a step back, you can see it. And like Cameron was saying, like, it's just stupidity, or
Let's
they're
talk
dumb
to
or
Jared
whatever.
Leto. What's he doing? Isn't he
knows?
like
What is he up
isn't he
to?
a Jesus now?
I think didn't he try to do like the Jared Leto as a cult thing, but wasn't it like
he has like a whole
weird
experience
thing?
tour. Like he has like packages and stuff where like you can go, and it's like for like $2,000 you can like be in the shitty tent, and then you can go
What
to
is
a
this,
thing.
Fyre
and then-
Festival?
We're going to say this
It's
right to the
kind of,
camera.
yeah.
We're going to say this right to the camera. Don't be a dum-dum.
Yeah.
Save your money.
But if you have
Don't be a
10
dum-dum.
grand, you can like shake his hand and like
Ooh.
touch his Jesus hair apparently,
Or you could not be a dum-dum
and be in an air conditioned
and still
tent.
have 10 grand.
Yeah.
But, you could do with your...
I don't know how that is
I want to
since
touch
COVID.
his hair though. You seen his
I
hair.
don't want to touch it.
I don't know. I don't know where that hair's
I
been.
bet mine's
I don't
better.
like germs. If not, you should have learned the whole world that we're in right now. Germs are, you don't know
We
where
don't
that's been.
touch. We're trying to
don't
get a
touch.
vaccine here. We don't
Yeah.
touch.
You live in a bubble and stay safe. So we have rambled for a long time.
Yes.
And we do have
I can't
a
see that
special
far. We
episode
have.
of a special segment of What's in the Coffin. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Your face the entire time I'm talking about it, she's like, just shut up.
No, I don't have a touching thing. I have a tasty thing.
That's fine.
I don't want to put things in my mouth. I'm very sensitive.
You have to taste it.
No.
It's a part of the show.
I
It's in your contract.
I literally have
It's
a
in your-
wound from spicy food on my mouth. So
It's
I
not
have
spicy.
to be.
She said it's not spicy, so we are going to break BRB. So we are back for What's in the Coffin. Ashley's item is first. So we're going to reveal. We don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
That.
I'm telling you.
Well, AJ has some
Stop
pre-guesses of what she thinks it is, but
ruining it.
It's a ball of mashed potatoes in water.
that's the final guess.
Not quite.
Okay. Are you going?
Not quite. Did I?
We don't have the little plate, so you got to go low.
Oh,
Oh.
I was
Ew.
right. It's
No,
an egg. It's a hard-boiled
no,
egg.
It's no. It feels like gummy.
But I can't tear it apart with my
No,
hands.
it's sponges. It's a makeup
Cut up
sponge.
Oh, it's a beauty,
It's a beauty blender chopped up.
Yeah, I put this on my
It's
face.
a beauty blender.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I
You
guess-
wasted a beauty blender
Sorry,
on us?
makeup industry.
Or is
old?
it a used one? Please tell me it's an old one.
No, it's new.
Why would you waste that on
Because
us?
it wasn't
it's
a
not-
good product.
Well, you could use little tiny bits.
Honestly, I didn't pay for it.
Okay. It was a free beauty blender, so we
It
don't
was
feel
a
that bad.
freebie.
Okay.
Well, I don't like freebies unless it's lighting equipment. So I didn't fucking post it.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go next.
You can look
I'm
at
gonna-
it though.
Mine's tasting.
Oh, wait.
So.
Look at how beautiful it
take it
is.
out.
It's
It
like
looks-
cereal.
It looks like a fruit cup.
Yeah.
Not edible, but or like radishes. Okay.
You rub it on your face.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
I'm
Hey,
only gonna close
close your
one
fucking
eye.
eyes.
Hey, yeah, close your eyes.
I'm only close one eye.
We're in New Jersey.
Well, actually, you don't have to. I'm going to put it over here, but it just sounded funny when I moved it.
I don't like when you do things because you do things gross.
You do mean.
I'm not a mean. I don't do things.
She mean.
Hold on.
I didn't sign anything.
I'm in this hole, so you're gonna have to be on that hole. That's what she said.
Put your hand in the hole, and it'll be fine.
Can I open my eyeballs?
Okay, you can open your eyes.
But my nails are so nice. What are you gonna do?
Just touch
then?
it with your thumb.
Keep your eyes open and touch it with your fingers.
Oh, I can't reach.
Oh, sorry. I'll scoot over.
Ew. I already don't like it. That's my hands.
What do you?
Ew.
That's my hands.
It's like a meat.
What do you think
like
it
a-
is?
it's
Oh,
like
I know
a-
what it is. But you get mad at me when I guess too
AJ
soon.
guesses everything.
Ew.
Like, don't guess. Just be quiet.
I don't want to break it. It's sentimental.
It's a steak.
She does. She always knows. Like, there's never
What
any
is it?
fooling her.
I'm too good
Take
at this
one
game.
guess, AJ or Ashley. Take
It's
one
a
guess.
fucking wrought iron piece of steak.
No. That is incorrect.
It's,
AJ,
ew, it's meaty.
tell us what it is.
Meaty. It's your wedding toppers.
How did you know that?
Wait, I didn't get a good end because mine felt
No,
like
there's two. They're the
mine
same
felt
one.
like a sirloin steak.
It's a sirloin.
I would like to evaluate.
It is.
No.
So those are our wedding toppers
Ew.
from our wedding cake, which was in 2015. So it was a very long time ago.
was a long time
and
ago.
So the tradition is, right, you keep the wedding topper and then
Is
you
it?
eat it.
No, that's
Yes,
not a
it
tradition.
is.
That's a hoarder tendency.
No. Listen, I'm not a hoarder. And the tradition is you keep the top, and then a year later on your anniversary, you freeze it, and then you eat it. to
Okay,
celebrate
cool.
your
15
anniversary.
years
So it's
later,
been like 20 years.
Why is it still like this?
Because every time I would try to throw it away, Cameron would make me feel bad. He would say that was our
once
love.
you throw that away,
Because now we
Nothing.
use the show.
But okay, so that's bullshit. You just made that up. But every time I'd be like, "Can we throw this away?" It's literally like you could kill someone with it. It is hard as a rock. You can't eat it. Even if you microwaved it, I don't think it would melt.
it's sticky.
It's sticky. It is not edible anymore. And he made me keep it. So, but it
I
had
don't
its
like it.
moment. And now it's going to go in the garbage unless you want to try to crack
I
it.
would
too.
rather.
Someone
I
eat
already
it.
have enough digestive problems.
You'll
and I'm
have to
looking
go
for a
to-
colonoscopy. If anyone has one,
If anyone has one,
camera A, camera B.
Just close your
I'm
eyes.
29. I just spat, but I'm agile.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna
my
take-
asshole is not.
Do I need to close my
Do I
eyes?
have to eat something
yeah.
now?
Close your eyes as while you move this out of the way. No, I'm not putting something in there, so I don't know if we want to remove
I'll
it.
just leave it.
What are we eating?
Something icky.
Just close your eyes and
yeah,
then
just close your eyes.
I don't like putting things in. I
Yeah,
just,
you do.
I've literally got a wound from a spicy food in my.
It's
Just
not
right
be
here. Do you
quiet.
see
Shut
that?
up.
Okay, I'm closing.
You signed up for this.
Do you see that?
Yeah,
Where?
it's
Do you have a
herpes.
Look, no, it's
You have,
not.
like, a
it's
sore
literally
from-
no. I literally got a sore from eating Takis.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not kidding.
It's a sore from eating.
I got
whatever.
a sore from eating Takis. I'm not kidding.
She won't put it on your sore side.
No, I ate Takis and I went to sleep. And
Close
then
your eyeballs.
I drooled.
My eyes are closed.
I drooled and I had
drooled
Takis,
Taki juice?
and now it's fucking
created a
raw.
sore?
Ashley.
My eyes are closed. Are you feeding it to us?
Yeah, I'm going to.
I don't
Okay.
want to be
I
fed.
don't, this makes me nervous.
I don't even like this.
Fuck that.
Stop. You be quiet.
Okay,
Is it a
open
pickle?
mouth. Open your mouth.
No,
Open
Wait,
your
who?
mouth.
Both?
I'm
Yes.
allergic.
Oh, what?
Just smoke it like a
Oh,
ciggy.
this is a Kit Kat. This is a Kit Kat.
Food.
It's sour.
No.
No, it is sour.
Oh,
Where's your Kit Kat bar?
What do you mean? Oh,
no.
Where's your Kit
is it a
Kat?
strawberry Kit Kat?
No, it's apple pie.
No, it's not. But
Just got excited.
Did I give you the wrong
It's a
one?
dog food.
Well, I put two in here. There's raspberry in here, and then there's also apple
oh,
pie.
I feel like mine might have been raspberry.
Oh.
Mine's dog food.
I mean, that was good. I love a good weird Kit Kat. What's the weirdest Kit Kat flavor you've ever had?
Dog food.
The one that I love is the strawberry ones from Japan.
Yes.
I ordered a bag from Amazon, and I'm like slowly every now and then have one.
we had. Did we have
dog food?
They have wasabi ones, right? Do they have wasabi ones? Because I feel
I
like when
think
we were in
so.
Japan, we tried it, and I was like, "This is death. Why did you?"
Has
make this?
everyone been to Japan except for me?
No, I haven't, and I was supposed to.
She was supposed to go this April,
I was supposed
right?
to go in November, and then I was also supposed. Then we were like, "Oh well, we can't go anymore." So then we moved it, and then we were supposed to go in March. Then we had to cancel it, and I am very depressed. And Nintendo World is open, and that's all I want to do.
Well, soon. No,
I saw that and I was
maybe I
like,
did have apple pie because this is raspberry, right?
Yeah.
Whatever I had was sour.
Huh? That's weird.
I
Well,
probably
this
you
one
probably gave me a rotten
tastes
one.
like dog food.
Actually good.
I just it's
Dog
you.
food.
Dog food flavor?
She's eating it again.
Maybe we got the bad ones.
But like when I had the apple pie one, it has like a weird apple pie. Like it actually.
It didn't taste like apple pie.
Oh.
But I also had rum and coke, so
Tastes
that
like
could have
Dog food.
messed up the palate.
I have a raspberry one. Those ones are good.
All right, Fiends, so that will do it for this episode of Let's Get Spooky. If you'd like to watch or see more or get some of our amazing merch, you can visit letsgetspooky.com. And don't forget to
Stay spooky.